And we are live. Welcome, everybody. My name is Laura Cantu, and I am back for another live stream Monday at our new time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And today, I will be sharing with you tips on how to apply to college, everything that your student needs to know for 2023, give you some advice. It is the new year, and, you might be the parent of students who are seniors in high school right now. You might be the parent of students who just started high school, just started middle school, but it is important to know what it is like to go to college right now and start to get familiar with the process. Even if you have kids who just started middle school, kids who just started high school, it's always a great time to start preparing and to start not necessarily preparing, but, understanding what the process is like and different aspects of the whole entire application system and education system in this country. Because, the earlier you apply, we always say this, the earlier you start preparing, the earlier you start doing the necessary things that have to be done early on, the better and the higher the chances of your students getting accepted into great colleges with scholarships and financial aid awards that are going to avoid student debt, that are going to help your students find the best education for them, and many, many other things. So while you are joining, let me know where you're watching from. Let me know whether you're a parent or a student. This is, these live streams are for parents, for students, for anybody who's interested in going to college in the United States and getting a college education. I see that we have Jenna Dean saying hi there. Hi, Jenna. Thank you so much for joining today and for tuning in. I remember you, and I am very happy that you are here joining us today. And as always, David is going to be in the chat monitoring this live stream. So if you have any questions that maybe I don't get to yet because I am giving out the presentation and sharing the information with you, no worries. Somebody will get to you in the chat. And at the end, I always do a live Q&A, a little mini Q&A session, and answer some of your questions. So remember to ask your questions in the comment section so that I can maybe answer those questions for you. I do want to remind you about our new live stream schedule, times, because we did change it. We are going to be going live now every Monday and every Tuesday, same days, but what changed is the time. We are, as you can see today, we are going to be going live at 7 p.m., 7:15 today, Eastern Time. We set 7:20, at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, but since we just came from our Spanish live stream, we kind of wanted to give us time to switch everything and kind of have everything ready for this live stream, the English one. So it's going to be 7:15, and tune in every week, join us so that you don't miss out on any of the information and the valuable tips that we share week after week in these live streams. David is joining us in the Best College Aid account, saying, hello, everyone. Please let us know where you're joining from. Yes, please let us know where you're joining from so we can give you a shout out. And don't forget to leave your questions in the chat because, as I said, I do answer them at the end of the presentation. Now, today we're talking about applying to college, the 2023 guide, because it is a new year. So I will be covering that today. Additionally, I also want to encourage you to follow us in all of our other social media channels. I know right now we're on TikTok. We are live currently on Facebook and YouTube, but we do go live in our other social media platforms, which is Instagram and TikTok, and we do that tomorrow on Tuesdays at 7:15 p.m. Eastern Time. So do follow us in those platforms so that you can get notifications, and also you can see all the other content that we post on those social media platforms, because we do post content on every single platform, and every platform does allow you to have different types of content. You can't really post a picture on TikTok, but you can post it on Instagram. So it's good to be on the loop in everything, because there are things that maybe we can't put in one social media platform, but we can do it on the other one. So make sure that you follow Best College Aid USA. That's the name for all of our social media handles in English. And also, I want to remind you, if you haven't done so already, I want to invite you to register for our free training of the 6 strategies to help your children get accepted to college with scholarships. This free training is full of valuable information. The link to this training is in this video's description, and it is super, super informational, and it's going to be helping you out a lot. So make sure that you sign up for it. It's an additional resource that we have for you, additional to the live streams that we do here week after week. So make sure that you register. Again, the link to this free training is underneath this video's description, and you will learn 6 steps to help your student get accepted into college with scholarships. We also have Francisco, who, usually does the live streams on these platforms, but today I decided to join and kind of give him a break. So, maybe sometimes it's going to be me, sometimes it's going to be Francisco. We are a team. But Francisco is saying hello, welcome everybody. Happy to have you here and ready to answer some questions that you may have. So Francisco and David are both in the chat, ready to answer questions. But with that being said, why don't we go ahead and talk about today's topic, which is applying to college, the 2020-2023 guide, the advice that we have for you with this new year. So, what is the first thing that I want to cover today? Well, I want to talk about, what are the short-term benefits of minimum wage? And why do I bring this up? Well, a lot of people decide, and a lot of students think that maybe going to college is not worth it, because they think that receiving a high school diploma and just going straight into a job, maybe a full-time job while they earn a minimum wage is, it's not the right thing to do, but the best thing for them. And I do want to highlight some of those benefits that those people might have. Having a minimum wage has some benefits, as it is very tempting for some students to find a job and earn $600 to $800 a week, an average. That's the average of minimum wage in the country. So it might be really tempting for certain students to, especially right out of high school, to see that if they get a job and, maybe they are earning minimum wage or maybe a little bit over minimum wage, they're making that amount of money per week. And it might be really tempting, and it might be really good short term. Now, this could become an issue as the student gets older. Let's say that the high school student gets right out of high school, gets this job, and in the first couple of weeks, first couple of years, this is ideal. But, as the student gets older, and other responsibilities might come, such as maybe moving out, trying to find an apartment, trying to, get a car, pay for their own insurance. There's going to come a point where a job that makes $800 to $1,000 per week, it's not going to be enough. It's not going to be enough to pay for those responsibilities, so to pay for that. So yes, there are short-term benefits to a minimum wage. Now I want to talk about long-term benefits of receiving a college degree, going to college and earning a college degree. And this is taken right out of Georgetown University. They did an article and they revealed that college graduates earn an average of $2.8 million during their entire careers, which is going to be around 75% more than those students who just finished high school, right? So it is the average in the country, and according to Georgetown, students who graduate from college and who earn a college degree will most of the time earn 75% more throughout their careers, throughout their lifetime, than a student who only graduated from high school. So those are some very important things to consider, and very important things to know, especially for students who might be in high school and they might be undecided, or they might not think that going to college is the path for them or right for them or even worth it. And these are just some benefits. There are so many other benefits to going to college. Yes, obviously, like financially, if the student goes through college, receives a college degree, and gets a job right out of college, there's, students who receive a uh, college degree, the chances of them receiving a higher paying salary than those who graduate from high school, well, that's a given. But also, there are many other benefits such as networking, opportunities that can happen while in college, opportunities like traveling, studying abroad. It does broaden a person's horizon in going to college and having that experience and meeting people from all over the world and having the opportunity to maybe room with somebody who's from a different state, from a different background. And that, causes personal growth and, will kind of force the student to come out of their shell or just, leave what they know as what life is at home, what they think the world is or life is, and once they get to college and experience all these different things, it's kind of going to broaden their worldview. So these are just some of the benefits, and if you are interested in the financial benefits, well, as I said, college graduates do earn an average of $2.8 million according to Georgetown University. And this is during their career, which again, that is 75% more of those students who only finish high school and get a high school degree. So, there are a lot of benefits, and I could do a whole live stream dedicated to financial, personal, other benefits that come with going to college. But bottom line is that there are many benefits, and this, maybe your student might need to hear this. Maybe you can tell them about some of these benefits, or if you're a student watching this, hopefully this could encourage you. And even if, you are thinking about, or your student is thinking about going to college, or not even going to college, but they want to be an entrepreneur, maybe they want to open their own business, receiving a college education and receiving a degree that might be in business, might be entrepreneurship, maybe psychology, everything is going to help them get to their end goal. Let's say that, for example, we started Best College Aid, our family. We all studied different things. My brother David studied finance, business finance. Francisco also studied business. I studied media studies. And then we started this project, Best College Aid, where we do, all sorts of social media. We do these live streams. We also have our course, Best College Aid, our membership, which is a step-by-step guide where we guide families, parents, and students through the college admissions process. But everything that we learned in college, we have applied to this project. We have applied to our day-to-day lives right now with Best College Aid. And it definitely taught us a lot. David studied finance, and he also had a minor in our concentration in entrepreneurship. He took entrepreneurship classes in college, and that definitely helped him when we started this. I did media studies, so I study how to edit, how to film, how to write content, and I do that every day with our Spanish and our English platforms here with Best College Aid. And all of the knowledge that I learned in college, I have applied to this project, so it's definitely, there are a lot of lessons that we learned that we still use in our day-to-day lives. And there's other benefits that we all had that maybe weren't necessarily like geared towards our careers, but they still shaped us into who we are today. I had the opportunity to go and study abroad for a semester in London and travel, and also had an internship in London. Francisco, my brother, he studied a semester in Paris. He got to travel. He got to stay with a host family and live, with them and learn from their culture. And that definitely helped him grow. So in other words, in fewer words, I guess, is there are a lot of benefits to going to college now. All right, so today's topic is applying to college, the 2023 guide. Hopefully that might have encouraged you or helped you a little bit. But now let's talk about 3 things that you should determine with your students, if maybe if the goal is to go to college or to apply to college. All right, so the first thing that needs to happen, the first step, is obviously defining whether or not your student is going to college, wants to go to college, which is sort of what I kind of just went over. And I guess I explained some of the benefits of receiving a college education. If your student is interested in going to college, if your student is not interested, well, that's the first step. Is the student interested? Some facts that I would like to share with you. 3 million high school students graduate every year from high school, but more than 1 million do not enroll in college. So 3 million students, high school students, are graduating every year, and over a million are not going to college, are not enrolling to college right out of high school. So there's a lot of students who do not enroll and decide not to go to college. And, additionally to that, 40% of undergraduate students drop out of college after their first or second year. And there are plenty of reasons why students decide to do this, or it ends up happening. The college dropout rate has, there's a lot of reasons behind it, but the biggest reason is because students get to maybe the second semester, or they get to school and they never really considered, after applying to colleges, they never really considered how much it was going to cost. And they realize when it's really late that they maybe are not going to be able to afford the tuition that they have to pay at that college, because they didn't really plan ahead and they didn't really think about the financing, the costs, or maybe they realized that the college that they went to, they didn't really consider what they wanted to study. And they realized that what they want to study, maybe that college doesn't even have it. So they either drop out or they have to transfer. So unfortunately, there's a big dropout rate, 40%. And there's also there's over 1 million students every year that don't enroll in college. And, there's a lot of causes to this. There's a lot of reasons why students don't even enroll. There's a big misconception. And, there's also an issue about student debt, student loans, and it's a huge epidemic. It's a huge problem in this country. But, a lot of it is because there's a lot of lack of information and lack of resources. And that's why we're here, because we want to inform people and, let parents know that there are resources, there are ways for students to afford a college education, to avoid student debt, avoid taking out loans. But this planning, understanding this process, has to happen not in the student's senior year of high school in January or February. I mean, stuff can still be done, but or maybe not once the student is already in their first semester of college and they realize that they're not going to have enough funds to pay for the next year, for the next semester. This understanding, this planning has to happen earlier on. So that's why it's important to define, is my student, are they going to go to college? All right, so once this is decided, the second step is, well, obviously, have you and your parents team up with your student, parents and students. The process is going to be so much easier. The process is going to be more digestible, and it's going to be, 10 times easier if there is a team up, if the parents and the student, or if the guardian and the students work together towards the same goal, which is helping your student, helping yourself, if you're the student watching, get accepted into the right college with scholarships. So what does this mean, teaming up with your student? Well, when it comes to going to college and applying to college, we always recommend that students create a college list. And, this is going to help students find the right schools that they can apply to, the schools that are going to meet a lot of criteria, such as the majors, such as the price, such as the typical amount of financial aid that is usually offered at those institutions, the extracurricular activities that the student could practice that might, be more susceptible or have more opportunities to award scholarships for students to continue to do these extracurricular activities, right? So when the students and the parents, team up, what is going to happen? Like, what should be considered? Well, when creating a college list, students should consider looking for colleges that meet the following criteria. One of the biggest, there's three big criterias that we always tell students to consider when creating a college list. That is obviously which schools are going to meet the students' passions, which schools, and when it comes to passions, this could be everything from extracurricular activities, sports clubs, arts clubs, if the student really passionate about college sports, and do they want to go to a school that has a big, college sports culture, or maybe the student is really passionate about the arts and they want to go to a conservatory and they want to study theater, they want to study piano, play an instrument. Maybe the student's passion is to be part of the marching band and they dream about being part of a marching band for a big school. Maybe the student wants to be a cheerleader, right? Which school is going to meet the student's passions? Which school is going to have those opportunities for the student? Another important criteria when looking for colleges is which school is going to meet the student's academic needs. And honestly, this is one of the most important ones. If the student knows what they want to study, all right, we need to find colleges that are going to have those majors available for the student. If the student maybe wants to eventually be a doctor, eventually be a dentist, eventually be a vet, which schools are going to maybe facilitate that process of going to vet school, getting accepted into a great med school a great med school, a great PA school. These are all things that should be considered and thought out, planned well in advance. So obviously, that is another very, very important thing to consider. Now, the third and very, very important, and this is where the communication and the teaming up should be in full swing, and that is going to be which colleges, having an open conversation with your student to try to find the colleges that will meet the parent's financial need. If the student is applying to college as a dependent, which means that they are going to be, when applying for financial aid, they're going to be showing the parents tax return information and all that, which schools are going to meet the parents' financial needs. Because when it comes to awarding need-based aid, colleges are going to be asking, everything from the parents' income, tax returns, and all those very, very important documents. Obviously, that is something when it comes to filling out the forms such as the FAFSA CSS profile. We always recommend that students and parents work together, filling out these forms and understanding, what needs to be sent out, how it should be filled out, and when it should be filled out. And this is a part of the process that should be a teamwork, a team effort. Also, it's not even just about filling out financial aid forms. Is also about, as I said, having an open conversation with your student, talking to them and figuring out, what's the parent's financial situation? How much can the parent help the student financially? What is their income? Figuring out the expected family contribution so that they know, all right, so this is how much money we can help you with once you go to college. And that is, when those conversations and that trust and that open channel of communication should be happening. So it is very important that when it comes to creating a college list and the student is looking for colleges to add to their list of schools that they're going to apply to, obviously they have in mind, they take their parents' financial situation, financial status into consideration, right? Because that is going to help the student find colleges that are going to meet the student and the family's financial needs, and they're going to find and look for colleges that tend to be more generous with families that are in that specific financial situation. So that was number 2, a parent's financial need. And also, I do want to remind you, and I see that Andrew Howell has a question, which I'm going to answer. But I do want to let you know that we do have a completely free presentation where we go in depth with everything that we're talking about today. It's called The 6 Secrets to Help Your Student Get Accepted into College with Scholarships. The link is in this video's description. So if you are still a little iffy after everything that I presented today, if you still want to learn more strategies, trust me, register for that free training. The link is in this video's description and it's going to help you out a lot. Now, I do see that Andre Howell is asking, love the picture of the lion, is asking, my son, 11th grade, is very good. It's a very good student, mostly A's, couple of B's, great, but he is not a great test taker. Do you have any advice for him before he starts his senior year of high school? All right, so your student is a junior. So not a great tester, but has good grades. Well, this is, there's a lot of students that have this issue. And it's not even an issue, but there's a lot of students who have good grades, but when it comes to testing, something happens. Well, maybe they get nervous, they get anxious, and it does affect their performance. Now, when it comes to standardized testing, because, they're standardized testing such as the SAT, the ACT, these are tests that a lot of colleges require when it comes to applying to college and when it comes to looking at a student's application. But, not every school requires these standardized tests. So the good news for you and for your student is that if, like you mentioned, he might not be a great test taker, he might get nervous. Well, there's a lot of colleges that don't require that the student submits the SAT or the ACT. These colleges are known as test optional schools. So if your student, and you said he is a very good student, he has good grades. If your student, academic resume, their GPA, their grades, their extracurriculars, their involvement is very diverse, is very it's very, they have a high GPA or a good GPA, if they took maybe advanced placement classes or IB classes, if their academic resume, the academic profile is good and it's, just good enough. They might not even need to send in these test scores. Now, I would still recommend that your student practices, that your student tries to study and tries to take these exams, these standardized tests, just because you never know. Maybe he could perform well. And if he has good grades already and he performs well in maybe one time that he takes this test because he really, really studied a lot, this could be very, very beneficial and could make his application more attractive if he decides to, apply to a school that, let's say, is test optional, but he has a good test score or a good score in these tests. That's kind of going to boost up his application. So good news, like I said, you mentioned that he's a good student, has good grades. I would make sure, I don't know, you didn't say in your question, but if he does practice extracurricular activities, if he, maybe has a leadership position, make sure that he has those under his belt, because strengthening those areas of an application, especially if they're applying to a test optional school, since let's say the students apply to a test optional school and they decide not to send in their test scores, well, there's going to be other students who do send in those test scores. So you want your students' application to be as competitive as it can be. And since they're not going to be sending in the SAT or SAT, he's going to be having to work really hard in the other aspects of his applications. So I know that was a very lengthy response, and I hope that helped you, and Andre. And also, if you want to learn more strategies, again, the presentation in this video's description, it's honestly is going to be super helpful. Trust me, my brother Francisco wrote it and, prepared it, and, he's the one that presents it, and it is very, very informational. But hopefully my answer helped you. And Super Fair says, is it too late to apply to college now? If you're a senior or if your student is a senior, there are still colleges that applications are still open, that the deadline, the regular decision deadline is not until February. Or some schools do have a deadline on January. So there are schools whose applications are still open, but it's not too late right now, but it is going to be too late in like a month, in a few weeks. So if you're a senior, if your student is a senior and they are interested in applying to college and they haven't really done it, the time is now. If you want help, Super Fur, the presentation is going to help you out a lot. Trust me, there's a lot of tips, a lot of strategies. I recommend that you register and you watch it. And if you're going to be applying to college right now in these next couple of weeks, this month, watch it. Trust me, it's going to help out a lot. All right, so that was a little, answering question break. Time to get to our final point, our final, I guess, tip for applying to college in 2023, and that is following a step-by-step guide like the one we have inside of Best College Aid. Following a step-by-step guide is what helped my siblings and I when we were in high school, to get accepted to colleges tuition free, to get accepted to colleges with full ride scholarships that allowed us to go get accepted and to go to the colleges that were right for us without having to worry about student loans, without having to worry about debt. So, the very and most important thing to do is having a guide, following somebody, or having a plan, right? Having a plan, following a guide is going to maximize your students' chances of being accepted to college. And it's also going to maximize the odds of receiving financial aid and scholarship awards. So definitely the fact that you are here today and you are asking questions such as Andre and such as Super Fair, and you are interested in learning about this process, it's the first step that you're taking. And it is very, I applaud you. And also it is very good news that you're interested in wanting to help your student, or if you're the student watching this, wanting to understand this. So these live streams that we do here on Facebook and YouTube are completely free, and are a free resource that we have for you. We have another resource that is completely free, which is this free training on the 6 strategies to help your children get accepted into college with scholarship. If you want to continue to learn, and if you want to have additional resources that can help you in this college admissions process. Now, I know that we're talking about college admissions, and before I get to answering more questions, and since you guys are all watching, I want to give a shout out to our students who have been getting accepted, because we do have students inside of Best College Aid, our members, who have gotten accepted over the past couple of weeks to these amazing colleges, and they got accepted because they applied early decision. There's a lot of schools who already let the students who apply early action, early decision, they let them know whether or not they were accepted. And, thankfully, we had a lot of students get accepted into great colleges. We had students get into Northwestern University, Northeastern, Harvard, UNC Chapel Hill, Boston College, Louisville University, UPenn, Boston University, the University of Florida, NYU, ASU, Seton Hall, Milwaukee, the University of Minnesota. These are some of our success stories, and we are super happy, super proud of our students. And I just wanted to give a shout out to them and to the parents who helped them throughout the entire process and helped them get to the point of getting accepted. We had a student, Nicole, who heard that Jose, wrote to us, and I want to find the slide so I can show you that testimonial. He wrote to us last week to let us know that her daughter was accepted into NYU, and he received, a super high financial aid award package. Let me find it. I need to find it because I really do want to show it to you guys. Her daughter received a great financial aid award package. And this was before he tried. So what you can do, you can appeal your financial aid award and try to get more financial aid. So before he even tried to appeal it, his financial aid award package was great. And then he tried to appeal and receive more money. talk to the school so he could have the possibility to help his daughter, get more money to go to college. And I can't find, let's see, January 2nd. Is it this one? All right, there you go. Yeah, I'm going to share the slide with you so you can see it. So this is some of the award packages, some of the testimonials that we've had. As you can see, the NYU screenshot that Jose shared with us, saying that Nicole got accepted into New York University, NYU, with she only would have to pay $5,000 per year to attend, but this was before appealing the award and trying to get more financial aid. We also had a student get into the University of Pennsylvania, and his grants and scholarships summed up to $70,000 in awards and scholarships and grants. We also got a student who got accepted into Harvard University. We had a student, Paula, let us know that her son got accepted into 5 universities, including the University of Louisville, and so on and so forth. So we are really happy for these students, for these parents, because, they worked hard. They follow all of the guidance and the step-by-step guide inside of Best College Aid, and they were able to help their students, and they were able to get accepted into college. So this was just the students who got accepted. Early decision, early action. We are very excited to see what happens with our students who are maybe applying rolling admissions, rolling decision, and continue to see success stories, because it is very rewarding. Now, if you want to learn maybe how you can join Best College Aid, if you're interested in having a personalized step-by-step guide, a step-by-step information that is more personalized with lots of benefits, such as unlimited online support, where we are giving you support, we're giving you guidance online, and it's not just these live streams. You can message us, you can write in the private group for just members. You have access to our curriculum, which is over 80 video tutorials where we literally explain every single aspect of the college admissions process, and we detail it for you. We have tutorials on how to fill out the FAFSA, fill out the CSS profile, etc. If you want to learn all those benefits and how you can join Best College Aid, at the end of this presentation, which we have in the link below this video, we explain how you can join Best College Aid. And we also do have a special sale going on right now, which is our winter back to school sale. It's 60% off. So if you want to take advantage of this sale, I do recommend registering for that free training and staying up until the end, so you learn the benefits and you have access to that special sale, so that you can join Best College Aid today. And, maybe you can be another of our successful students who gets accepted into great colleges with scholarships. So just wanted to give a shout out, just wanted to share that with you and, let you know. All right. So thank you so much for listening to that. And I do see that Andre is saying, thank you so much for all this great information. Thank you, Andre. Honestly, thank you for your question. I love when parents write questions in these live streams. I do encourage it. Please, I'm here every week, and either me or Francisco is, giving these live streams. So we want you guys to participate. We want to hear from you and understand and know what are some of the common questions that are happening with parents, with students. So right now, it's your opportunity to ask me anything in the chat, and I will, obviously answer it. We already answered Andre's questions. We answered this question. If you just joined the live stream, you can scroll back or go back a few minutes and see my answer to that. And also, I do want to remind you, while we're getting more questions in the chat, we do go live every Monday and every Tuesday. Tomorrow, we will be live on Instagram and TikTok, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. So if you want to join that, if you want to learn strategies, if you just want to follow us on those social media platforms, be my guest, and you will be able to also see all the other content that we post on those social media platforms. Additionally, before I forget, or I know I already said it, but just want to remind you about our free training, 6 strategies to help your children get accepted to college with scholarships. The link is in this video's description. Let me show you how you can access this link so that you can watch this free training. Let me share my screen with you. There I am looking down. Oh, that's not it. So if you scroll down and you click the video's description, you are going to click right here and you are going to click this link, and that will automatically, take you to the free training. Well, all you have to do is save your seat, reserve, fill out your information so that you can save your spot and register to our free training. So definitely take advantage of that. Definitely sign up and register, because trust me, we have thousands of students, thousands of parents who've watched this free training and they've benefited from it, and they tell us that they learned more in this free training that they did with their students' high school counselor. We do have the training in Spanish and in English because we are a bilingual household. My parents, my siblings, and I were all from Mexico, and we do offer this training in Spanish, and all of our content is in Spanish. So it is in Spanish and English, and we have been able to help our Spanish community, American community, and we want to continue to help more people take advantage of all the opportunities and all the resources that can help them, avoid falling into debt, because that's one of the biggest problems in the US. And when it comes to trying to send students to college, or the reason, which I was talking about this in the beginning of the presentation, one of the reasons why students don't even enroll in college is because there is this misconception, and there is there's this thought or just, I guess, misconception that comes from obviously the student debt crisis and the student loan crisis, that in order to go to college, students have to fall into debt. There's no other way. And what we're trying to do here is show parents, show students resources, ways, strategies that, falling into student debt, taking out thousands of dollars in debt it's not even an option. So, that's why we're here. Anyways, we have Ryan, who is writing, I want to go to school in Florida and I live in Illinois. All right, perfect. So good news, Florida has incredible schools. There are really great schools, the University of Florida, Florida State, the University of Miami. There's also some great private schools in Florida. There's Florida Southern. There is FGCU. So there's a lot of schools in Florida, and there are some pretty generous schools as well. I do want one piece of advice, and I know that you're saying Florida, but this is actually a free tip that I want to share with you. Do not sleep on, do not sleep on private colleges and universities just because a school has a very high tuition. Now, there are schools who are very expensive, high tuition, and they're not very generous. But just because a school has a very high tuition, a very high sticker price, this doesn't mean that their financial aid award package, their history of awarding financial aid is not great, and they don't have a great reputation, and they don't tend to award financial aid and scholarships to students. Usually schools, a lot of private schools, a lot of private universities have great endowments, which allows them to provide and to award financial aid and scholarships to students. So maybe, Ryan, a great option for you if you are interested. It's also depending on many factors. What interests you? Do you want to go to a big school, big state school, maybe a smaller school? Do you want to go to a school that's right by the beach, or a school who's more inland? All these things that you would have to consider. But the good news, as I said, is that there is a lot of schools in Florida, a lot of colleges, and there's a good variety. There is big state school, FSU, big universities, UF, private large universities, there is private smaller colleges, FGCU, and these are all great schools. So definitely my first tip for you, Ryan, and what I recommend is sign up for this free training. You will learn a lot of strategies that are going to help you, like how to create a college list, what to look for in a college, and how to prioritize those requirements, and yeah, how to find the right college for you. Link is in this video's description. Trust me, it's going to help you out a lot. Okay? Alrighty. Thank you for your comment, Ryan. Thank you for your question. And I don't see any other questions, any other comments. I guess this is it, guys. Oops, let me take down the comment. All right, good. I guess we don't have any other questions. So thank you so much for joining today, guys. I had a lot of fun. Sorry if I went into tangents, but hopefully everything that I shared with you today was valuable. Don't forget to sign up for our free training if you want to keep continuing, keep learning strategies and tips that can help you. And also don't forget to follow us in our social media, Best College Aid USA, so that you don't miss out on any of the information that we share with you. Finally, we will be live tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on TikTok and on Instagram. If you want to join, if you want to ask questions through there, join, be my guest, and it's either going to be me or Francisco answering questions, talking about today's topic in more depth. So definitely join tomorrow so that you can have more resources. All these live streams, like I said, are free training that is linked to this video's description. It's all free resources that we want to share with you. Our goal is to help parents understand, help students understand that college doesn't have to be, scary. The thought of getting a college education doesn't have to, come with years and years of debt. There are ways to not cheat the system, but there are strategies that you can learn, that your student can learn, that will, avoid all those, sucky things, such as student debt, which unfortunately there's a lot of students, a lot of people in this country who do suffer from this. But our goal is to avoid that, help you avoid that. All right. Well, have a fantastic night. Thank you so much for joining. Once again, my name was Laura Cantu. I had so much fun. Thank you, Ryan, Andre, Super Fair, Jenna Dean for joining, and everybody else who was watching. And I will see you again either tomorrow or next week or in the free training. Have a fantastic night, and thank you so much. Bye.